are these subtle areas called the islets of Langerhans, or the pancreatic islets. And they are the distinguishing feature of this organ because the pancreas, if you ignore the islets of Langerhans, they look exactly like parotid, submandibular, and sublingual salivary glands. They're like the exact same type of tissue. The only thing that distinguishes the pancreas from those tissues are the islets of Langerhans. And so you might be saying, well, why do I need to distinguish them? We're not looking at salivary glands this week, and you're right, we're not. But when we get to the digestive system, next, in the second half of this term, you're going to need to tell the pancreas from the submandibular, sublingual, and parotid salivary glands. And the only way you're going to do that is knowing these. So hopefully by knowing these this week, it'll make it easier in the coming weeks. So it is subtle. In words, if you want to put something in your notes, these are a slightly bleached region of the pancreas. And I don't mean literally bleached, but you know how if you had a nice pink shirt like this and a little bit of bleach got in the wash? Just a little, just enough to make kind of some spottiness. That's kind of what these islets look like. And so let me show you in a different example. This is zoomed in. The other thing is that they are a little bit more densely packed cells, but that's a little harder to see at first. But I'm going to show you using the virtual histology slide box kind of what this looks like from further away.
Are they always circular shaped?
They're circular-ish. Yeah, they're never a square or anything like it. It's circular-ish, mostly like that. Sometimes they're like football shaped. That's about as extreme as it gets. All right, so we back out. There's the entire pancreas. So really irregular. It's got all these little fractures in it. This is really, if we were looking at a salivary gland, it would look like the exact same thing at this point. Really, really similar style of tissue. But if we zoom in just a little bit more, you'll start to see some lighter regions. I may have to point them out because of the contrast in the projector, but oh no, you can see them. Yeah. So yeah, there, maybe there. But you see how it just looks like a bad paint job, like in a house. You didn't cover a couple areas. When you're painting over white, it looks a little lighter. That's kind of what the islets look like. So first, the biggest mistake people make is like with a lot of things, we love to get really close to things with the microscope, but that's going to really make it harder on you. The further you are away, the easier it is to see color contrast. When you're really close, it's very hard to see the big picture of color. And so I encourage you to stay far away, just like this. And then when you think you see a light region, go for it. And there we go. So now the contrast, especially if you're close, is a little harder to see, but now you can begin to see how they are a little smaller, the cells themselves. These are these pancreatic acini. And this is our islet, where our alpha and beta cells are. So the pancreas has two big functions. It's an endocrine organ, secreting insulin and glucagon, and a number of other hormones into the blood. That's why it's endocrine. But then these pancreatic acini, these are the exocrine cells. These are the cells that secrete enzymes mostly, but some hormones into our digestive tract. And so that's why the pancreas has two main, very, very different roles. And that's actually the reason that pancreatic cancer is such a devastating thing. It's not the endocrine function. We can live without the ability to produce glucose and glucagon. Sorry, insulin and glucagon. But we cannot live without the ability to digest proteins. And that's the other role of the pancreas that we'll get to when we do the digestive system. So as long as you're comfortable with zooming out first and finding some bleached regions, here's another one over here probably. Ooh, actually, I don't think that is one. Here's why. I would never give you this and tell you, is this or is it not? But just because you're going to do this when you look at it. This was bleached, but there are holes here. There are no holes in a pancreatic islet. They are not a duct. This is a duct. They're cuboidal cells lining a tube. And so that is a lighter staining duct, not an islet. But man, it looks like the same size and everything. The other thing you may mistake them for is this here. This is another duct, but from far away they're very light. But you can see these are cuboidal cells lined, columnar cells. Let's say they're columnar cells lined up. And there's particulate in the middle, probably what's about to be secreted out of the organ. So don't mistake the islets for these ones. And that's pretty much it for the pancreas.